We go. All right. That is good. Excellent. Hello, YouTubers. Yeah, many of you are here already. Excellent. All right. All right. Discord, YouTube, we are good. I will start. Actually, TikTok's ready. I got TikTok ready already, so to speak. Go live. Let's see if it actually works. But I had it ready. I mean, the sound may not work because it never works when I have it set up in advance. Let's see. Let's see if they can hear me. Let's see. Hello, TikTokers. Can you actually hear me? Sometimes the mic, when I set it up early, it doesn't work. Is the mic working or no? Very good. Okay. It's weird. It just sometimes decides when I plug the mic in early on TikTok. Like if I plug the mic in when I'm not in TikTok and then I launch the app, it never works, except that now it does. So who the hell knows? Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Lean. Thank you, Rosie. I'm wearing one of the new t-shirts, one of the new Amazon t-shirts. This is the T-Rex spewing, well, they call it lasers. It's a rainbow, but I thought it was very fun. It's like my dinosaur rainbow. Is it? Isn't it? Who knows? I thought it was I liked it. It's actually, and the color's fun. The color's quite fun. The other, oh my God, the other t-shirt, it's so funny. The other one it is a great t-shirt. The other one I may wait for spring. It's a crazy t-shirt. I know it is unique. Thank you, Fallin. We'll see. The other one, I don't know. I'm going to, like I said, I may wait for springtime for the other one. I haven't decided. Anyway, we will see. But the other one is a T-Rex, is a huge rainbow, a T-Rex, and it's a unicorn riding the T-Rex, which I just think is so funny. Anyway, welcome everybody. We've got an okay amount of news. These are not good news days, I will say, unfortunately. Hey, Dario, thank you for that. Thank you, Carol. But what do you do? I am John Aravosis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my show. We talk about the latest news from America. We also talk some Ukraine war updates, which we'll talk about as well. Thank you, Karen, for the gifts. Thank you, Carol. But we'll start with the U.S., and then we'll kind of go from there. Gifts are very welcome. Oh, we've got a new surprise today. The one of the TikTok has some I don't know what they call them, wish lists or something. Oh, hey, Alyssa, I've been here. They've got like a wish list thing or something, which is this thing up here, where you can set the creators. We can set various things we'll do in exchange for certain gifts. As long as TikTok approves it, they did approve it. I want to say it also looks like the quality of the video looks, I'm going to turn the picture up high, except that I don't want to go that high. It just feels like the quality of the picture is less today. Hold on. Is that? No. I don't want to go too bright because too bright's annoying to me, but I feel like okay, it looks good. Okay. It's just the quality on my end. It looks a little like, but that's fine. So anyway, TikTok has these gifts that, there they go. Gifts that you can buy that the creators will do something in exchange. And what we have, that first gift, the goat scream, is you buy the galaxy or the galaxy thing. And we had previously the large goat, the little Greek goat, both of them squeal. But we now have something even better. Somebody had recommended the Halloween goat, and this thing is pretty damn funny. I previewed it this weekend to the monthly subscribers. It screams, it plays Halloween music. It's quite good. So this will be an additional choice in addition to the other two goats, which one you want if somebody buys the goat. It's quite fun. It is. I was very excited. I forgot who it was who recommended it. I was like, oh, very good. So yes, we have props. We have more props. No preview. Nope. No preview. Somebody's gotta do the TikTok wish list. #1 goat scream. So let's get moving here. Breaking news, Google just caved to Trump. This story's bad. It's not as bad as it could be, but it's still pretty bad. It's another company caving to Trump, kind of bribing Trump. Flower Lady, you're funny. All right, Flower Lady. What did you buy, 2 of them? And Carrie. Well, we got both of you now, Flower Lady and Carrie. All right, so Flower Lady and Carrie, I assume you want the new one. Flower wants the new. Carrie, you're going to want new too. We'll do one for Carrie as well. So this is actually, you know what I can do too? I can do one for you guys and then go closer to the other screen. So this is the new goat. Like I said, listen to this. I love this. Is that fabulous? Like, this is, now the Christmas one doesn't do this. This one I love. This one is fabulous. So thank you. We'll give you one more since both of you bought them. I love this thing. He's got a little Halloween hat too. And the Christmas one doesn't do this, which made me very upset. Because the Christmas one, I thought there'd be a Christmas one with Christmas music. There isn't one. We looked. There's Christmas ones that are dressed up for Christmas, but they simply scream, which is okay. But how do you not play a Christmas Carol or something? You know what I mean? I know we made the Halloween goat may just stay. Maybe we use the Halloween goat when there's like bad news, like Google just caved to Donald Trump. Which actually is a true story. So Google just caved to Trump. This is another quasi bribe of Donald Trump, but I say quasi because the money isn't going directly to him, but I think the money is to placate Trump. Trump sued Google along with the other social media companies when they removed him from social media. In Google's case, they removed Trump from YouTube after, what did Trump do that was so bad that Google, Twitter, Instagram, everybody else, Facebook removed him from social media? Oh, that's right. He tried to violently overthrow the government and stop the peaceful transfer of power in America when he was a sitting president. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's kind of Soviet Union, communist China-ish. Yeah. Well, he sued the social media companies. The suits have been going on for 3-4 years now. And finally, all the social media companies want to make nice with Donald Trump because he's president again, so they're paying him off. Just like the media companies, right? CBS, Disney, Paramount, everybody paid him off. Well, Google just caved, $24.5 million settlement. The money does not go to Trump. The money goes in part to pay for the new hideous monstrosity Trump is building at the White House that, I swear to God, the next Democrat that gets into office has to promise they're destroying that thing. The hideous monstrosity at the White House, the ballroom Trump is building. By the way, that ballroom is costing $200 million. $200 million. In any case, so it's going to that, but also some of the money is going to some of the other plaintiffs, Naomi Wolf and the American Conservative Union. So they're actually giving that money. By the way, the American Conservative Union, oh my God, isn't the American Conservative Union Matt Schlapp? Is American Conservative Union Matt Schlapp? Oh my God. This is actually pretty bad. If this is true. Wait a minute. American Conservative Union. Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong on that with him. Hang on. It sure sounds like him. Yeah. American Conservative Union, nation's oldest grassroots. Yeah, bullshit. Oh, God. Advocacy organization representing blah, blah, blah. It's part of CPAC. It's got to be Matt Schlapp. They're donating money to basically CPAC? Are you kidding me? Hold on. Now we're going to go American Conservative Union Schlapp and see if that's who. He's the chairman. It's Matt Schlapp. It's Matt freaking Schlapp. This is awful. This is horrible. Google is giving like millions of dollars, it would seem, to Matt Schlapp. Matt Schlapp is a huge MAGA activist. Matt Schlapp is also, I'm not sure how to say, well, I do know how to say this. He was sued by a guy who was working with him, who he sexually touched. And he's not the only one. Let's leave it at that. He's married with kids. He's got issues. I know other things about him that I can't share. TikTok would probably get upset with me. But he was sued and had to settle. Yeah, very bad. He's also one that shared a bunch of lies this weekend about the January 6th insurrection, among other things. So not a good guy. Matt Schlapp, SCHLAPP. we had friends in common in Washington, D.C. in the 1990s. Let's put it that way. Friends of ours who hosted parties that Matt would go to. I got all the details on those parties. So yeah, nice. Anyway. So Google caved. Yeah. So Google, when they say, this is interesting. So when they say, look at this, look at how they even the way they phrase the story. Oh, it's going for the new building at the White House, and some of the other plaintiffs will get some to the American Conservative Union. And nobody says, oh, you mean CPAC? And you mean Matt Schlapp, one of the worst MAGA activists on the planet? That's who's getting the money from Google? Really? I was saying Schlapp. Matt Schlapp. It's like Wednesday, the TV show is Slurp. It's Matt Slurp. Anyway, that's really pretty. 2.5 million is going to the other plaintiffs. 2.5 million. So he's probably getting over $1 million for that advocacy, CPAC's advocacy organization run by one of the biggest Trump MAGA trolls on the planet. Thanks, Google. Really great. Schlapp means weak in Germany. That's funny. No, but I mean, that's pretty freaking bad. That's pretty bad. Government shutdown. So we are quickly approaching a possible government shutdown. Democrats have done a very bad job of messaging. As Adam Kinzinger, former Republican congressman, said, this is the Republicans. The Republicans control Washington. The Republicans control the White House, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Supreme Court. They control everything. It is not up to Democrats whether or not the government closes. It's up to Republicans. If they can't keep the government open, this is what they wanted. They're in charge. Somehow Democrats have done what Democrats always do, and they've let Republicans go, oh, if only we were in charge, but we're not. Those Democrats control everything. And if the government gets shut down, it's the Democrats. And the Democrats has always let them get away with it. There's a couple things here. First of all, well, not a couple things. The first thing is, of course, Republicans control the entire United States government. If the government shuts down, it's them. Second thing, why should Democrats agree to any budgets ever again, frankly? Donald Trump, with his Republican Supreme Court, have said that no matter what budget Democrats pass, he's going to just change it anyway, right? Foreign aid. The U.S. had, what, $14 billion foreign aid budget? Trump just got rid of it. He said, no. I mean, he's refusing. The Department of Education, they put billions of dollars into the Department of Education. Trump just said, no. Now, can he legally do it? Not until this Supreme Court said so, but no, generally speaking, no. And frankly, you don't need a law degree to figure this one out, right? If Congress appropriates money for something, the president can't just say, no. I mean, he can with a veto. That's how the president says no to congressional legislation. Congressional legislation is literally legislation. It's the law of the land. Congress passes a law that says you will spend money on this. You have to spend money on this, right? If you don't want to, you veto it. And if your veto wins, congratulations. If the veto doesn't win, well, you're out of luck. But if Democrats are going to negotiate with Republicans and reach deals on spending bills, and Democrats will say, okay, we'll put a little more money for Republican if you get a little more towards the Democratic priorities. And Trump can just say no. Why should Democrats agree to anything? You know, really crazy. So anyway, that we have no idea. Trump met with Democrats today. Trump was refusing up until this afternoon to even meet with Democrats to negotiate. Finally, I think he realized it was going to make him look bad. So he didn't negotiate. He met with Democrats today. I doubt it went well. Who knows? We'll see. The Mormon shooting. So there was a shooting yesterday. Actually, there were 3 shootings yesterday. America had a celebrating Sunday is only the way America does, with 3 mass shootings in the country. The one that I was paying attention to was the Mormon church mass shooting in Michigan. One of them was North Carolina. The third one, I don't even remember where the third one was. And basically, somebody, I'm trying to think of how to say this nicely. Somebody driving a pickup truck emblazoned with American flags all over it, including 2 huge American flags sticking out of this pickup truck, crashes into the Mormon church, opens fire, sets fire to the church. The entire church was on fire. I mean, it was horrific. Killed many people, injured many more, was himself killed by the police. And They still don't have a motive. I have not done TikTok videos or YouTube videos on this only because it hasn't been confirmed. A present will not buy the match slap story. No, Kirby. Only because I don't know how TikTok would feel about it. I have witnesses in tow, so I'm not afraid of telling my match slap story, but I don't think TikTok would like it. So unfortunately, we have to obey our overlords. So the Mormon shooting. So mass shooting, mass killing. Subsequently, there's been the mainstream media. The mainstream media is kind of funny with this. The mainstream media, and I think it's because of the Charlie Kirk killing, is trying to be very, very nice about this shooting and not talk about the shooter and his motivations. They keep saying, well, the police say they don't know the motivations. Okay. Well, a lot of people, including The Guardian, I think, went and found a lot of social media of the shooter and his family. His mother appears to be MAGA, over the top MAGA. Now, just because your mother's MAGA doesn't make you MAGA. His wife appears to be MAGA. Just because your wife's MAGA doesn't mean you're MAGA. They found photos of him wearing MAGA Trump t-shirts. Make the liberals cry. Usually not something a Democrat wears. He had a Trump sign outside his house up until at the very least a few months ago. They found his house in the court records. They found a picture of the house in the court records. They went to Google Maps, found the house, literally the same house, same pictures. And as of a couple months ago, there was a Trump sign in front of the house. Is he a Trumper? Driving a pickup truck, former U.S. military, driving a truck with two huge, enormous American flags hanging out of the truck. Is he a Trumper? Is he a Republican, not a Democrat? We will find out soon. But let's see. Because if he is a Republican, then we have to have a conversation. Because we just spent the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks with far too many MAGA Republicans, including Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, blaming Democrats for all political violence in America, when in fact, most political violence in America overwhelmingly comes from the extreme right. Again, Anti-Defamation League, Cato, CSIS, all of them. You can Google all the studies. Now, I have to see if I've got this. I think I do. The White House, Trump's White House, published something idiotic this weekend. Oh God, I hope I can find this. Because the thing is, I was like deleting stuff on my phone trying to make room, and published the most crazy. Here it is. Oh my God. Abigail Jackson from Trump's White House. Okay. Abigail Jackson, and I'll hold it up to the screen, publishes a chart to show how much democratic terrorism there is in America. Okay. Now, what she does is she's zooming in on 20. These are the previous 30 years. Okay. The last year is 2025. If you look at this, I'll show you guys. If you look at this last year, she wants you to look and see the right-wing terrorism is gray. The left wing is orange. Look how much left-wing terrorism there is this year versus right wing. Okay. But it gets better. It's this last little bit here, right? This one. Gray is Republican or right wing. Orange is left wing. Okay. Now, here's the thing. She's right. This was from, this is from Axios. Axios is trustworthy. She's right. Apparently, if you look at this year, there has been more left-wing than right-wing terrorism. Left-wing terrorism is orange. Right-wing terrorism is gray. This is the chart she shared. I want you to look at the last 30 years. Gray is right-wing terrorism. Orange is left-wing terrorism. This is the chart shared by the White House. Do you see more color of one versus the other? This is the terrorism of the last 30 years. The gray is right wing. The orange is left wing. Does one color predominate here? I'm going to show you guys a little, just so you can really get a look at what she shared. Insane. And you also see the right wing terrorism exploding in the last 10 years, right? Which seems to coincide, I'm going to guess, with President Obama. The White House shared a screenshot showing that in the last 30 years, almost all the terrorism in America has been right-wing. I mean, it's like, but again, this is Trump's people. She'll get, no one's going to hold her accountable for it. Pretty damn funny, though. I mean, pretty damn funny. Trump and Netanyahu in Israel. So I don't know what to think of this other than it feels like kind of nothing. It feels like they want us to think it's something, but it's kind of nothing. So Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, is in the the U.S. last week from the UN, United Nations stuff. Thank you, Ventures, for the gifts. And he's at the White House meeting with Trump today, and they announce a deal, a peace deal for the Middle East. Oh my God, that Israel and America have agreed to. And it parrots most of Israel's talking points for the last several years anyway. It basically is, Israel lets Gaza exist as an independent entity, maybe not a state, but an entity. They can pick Palestinian leaders, moderates, of course, but there's going to be an oversight organization that Trump's going to be on, that Tony Blair, former UK Prime Minister, is going to be on, that's going to oversee Gaza in some way. I'm not sure how. Hamas will be given amnesty if they put their weapons down, if they give up all power. Can't see that happening. It's a little weird. What I mean is, look, Hamas are terrorists. They are. We don't have to get into all the details of back of the last couple of years. Hamas is terrorists. But if you're, so I have no sympathy for Hamas in this battle. If you're trying to get peace, I'm not sure it advances you towards peace when you're at war and your proposal is the other guy surrender, right? Israel is not run by terrorists. No, we're not going to get into this again. Israel may do bad things. Israel's not run by terrorists. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. And Hamas is a terrorist organization, so we're not going to debate that. The point here is, let's get back to topic, because this is why we can never have discussions on this topic, because too many crazy people want to go, we can never have a serious conversation about the Middle East because there's just too many mean people on all sides. They just can't, they become screaming children, I think, when the topic comes up. How do you achieve peace when you tell the other guy unilaterally surrender? How does that happen? Right? Again, they're terrorists, but saying unilaterally surrender, I don't know that gets. Why would Hamas give up control of Gaza? Right? They're a terrorist group that runs Gaza and they use it as their terrorist base. Why would they give it up? That's the problem, and I don't know what the solution is, but this peace plan doesn't feel like much of a peace plan to me. Having said that, they're a terrorist group. Somebody should go and get them out of there. But good luck doing that. Right? Israel's been trying to do that. Not easy to do. So anyway, it was big news today, but I'm not convinced it's big news, to be honest. It feels like kind of the same package they've been putting together for years. Tomorrow, Trump and his defense secretary, the Fox News pretty boy, are meeting the generals in Washington tomorrow. They're going to be at Quantico, Virginia, where the FBI Academy is, and nobody knows what's going on. This is a very strange story. So last week, Trump's defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, he's the Fox News pretty boy. His hair is very pretty, and he cares about his hair being very pretty. He announces he has told possibly every general, it's not clear why, but possibly every general, to come to Washington next week, and we're going to have a meeting, every general. They never do this. J.D. Vance says, they do this all the time. It's no big deal. J.D. Vance lies. They never do this. And the generals are trying to figure out, what the hell's going on, right? What is this? What is this? Right? We've gotten, so then this weekend, this was great. Trump gets asked about this on Saturday. He says, this meeting with the generals is a big deal. And Trump goes, what meeting? And they tell Trump about the meeting. He goes, Trump goes, what meeting? Why do you think it's a big deal? He goes, every general's coming to Washington for a meeting. It seems like a big deal. And Trump goes, a couple hours later, the White House announces Trump is speaking at the meeting. Of course. So it actually looks like Trump didn't know about the meeting. Now, mind you, and this suggests Trump is having some issues. There is no way in hell that Pete Hegseth, pretty boy Hegseth, decided to bring every general and admiral, all 800 of them, to Washington for a meeting and didn't tell Trump. There is zero chance of that. Zero chance of that. Zero chance of that. He told him, and Trump doesn't remember, basically. So Trump is going to speak to them now, which is a disaster. It was already a disaster, like in the making. It's going to be a bigger disaster now. Trump is going to be talking to them. Trump, you know what Trump's going to do, and Trump has done this before. Oh, thank you for the wings. Oh, they are actually, those wings are cool when you're back. You kind of actually they went nicely with the shirt. Thank you for that, Norway. Trump has previously done this, and he's going to do it again. He's going to get political. He's going to get political with the generals. You know, he's gonna. It's going to be a mess. Now, a couple different things going on. Hegseth's people have leaked, and this is crazy. Hegseth's people have. Well, I actually pulled up an article on this because I wanted to get it right. Thank you. It's me for the gift. I want to get this right because no matter what's happening at this meeting, it's going to be bad. First up, what Trump is saying. This is what Trump is saying about the meeting. Actually, we have to do the hair on this one. There it is. We're going to have to do the hair on this one. So, all right, here's what Trump is saying about the meeting. All right. It's really just okay. You're bringing 800 generals and admirals to Washington. Anybody who says it's Virginia, grow up. Nobody outside of the DMV knows what the hell Quantico is. When you say they're in Quantico versus Washington, the rest of the world goes, oh, 50 miles away? That's Washington. Nobody says, well, it's not really Moscow. It's a suburb of Moscow, 7,000 miles away. So stop with the Virginia stuff. It's cute, but it's kind of obnoxious. No, all the people that know better were like, well, it's officially Virginia and not Washington they're coming to. You should say they're coming to Virginia. Here's the problem, too. If you tell the world he's bringing them to Virginia, they go, okay, I don't know where that is, whatever. If once you realize they're bringing them to Washington, you go, okay, something's up, right? Okay, so listen to this. This is what Trump had to say about the meeting with the generals. Listen to this. It's really just a very nice meeting, talking about how well we're doing militarily, talking about being in great shape, talking about a lot of good, positive things. It's just a good message. We have some great people coming in, and it's just an esprit de corps. You know the expression esprit de corps? That's all it's about. We're talking about what we're doing, what they're doing, and how we're doing. That last part was the best. We're talking about what we're doing, what they're doing, and how we're doing. You're dragging, first of all, he's lying, and he already has no idea, but I think he's lying. You're dragging generals in from halfway around the globe, and it's the whole reason you're flying these guys from submarines and ships and aircraft carriers and everything from halfway around the globe is to talk about what great shape we're in, how great everything's going. It's just an esprit de corps. Esprit de corps is, the camaraderie, yay. So it's a pep rally, which he's lying. That's not what it's going to be. But this is what and honestly, this is our commander-in-chief, the way he talks, right? We're talking about what we're doing and what they're doing and how we're doing. Okay, English much? Hegseth says, so Trump says it can be a pep rally. What Hegseth says, Hegseth is expected to discuss his warrior ethos. So Hegseth, let me just read the sentence and then we'll talk about it. Hegseth is expected to discuss, this is from Fox News, by the way. Okay, this is from Fox News. So they're like the authoritative source on Trump stuff. Hegseth is expected to discuss his warrior ethos vision, along with changes in grooming and standards for troops. He's going to, again, I think they're lying. I think there's more to this. But the story the generals are being told is they're going to talk to you about warrior ethos. The generals and admirals who have been in the military 40 years, okay? Thank you, Mrs. Toad, are going to be lectured about what it means to be a warrior from this guy with the hair gel who was basically a pretty boy on Fox News, is going to lecture our generals and admirals about what it really means to be a warrior. Because you don't have the warrior mind. It's, what, it sounds like one of those, it sounds like the Tate, like one of those sort of manliness cults. Like not or manly, are they cults or are they Ponzi schemes or I don't know what you want to call them, right? Where, right, you pay me $100,000 and I will teach you to be a man, and you're going to literally bring the generals here from all over the world and teach them how to be alpha males. Oh, the last person on the planet I would want to be doing that to would be a United States military general or admiral, right? But that's what they're going to. And after you're done, I mean, you literally need a laugh track for this. Thank you, adventurers. After you are done lecturing American generals about what it really means to be a war, they need to start being warriors. You're going to talk to them about grooming. Okay, are we going to talk about like STDs next? Like, okay, let's have a conversation about what can happen when you're on leave, generals. I think we need to talk about. Have you gone to Thailand recently? We need to talk about this. Thank you, Mrs. Toad. Very nice gift. Oh, that's the Trump wig again. All right, we'll do another Trump wig. Grooming. The fact that grooming has come up. There we go, Trump wig. The fact that grooming has come up. Thank you for the gift. Has come up repeatedly. We had I've got to get the hairbrush again, though. Remember, the hair is starting to pull apart a little bit. Somebody needs to like one of the ladies or boys needs to find me a hairbrush for wigs on Amazon so I can do this right. Grooming. They're going to talk to them about grooming. Now, Rhonda just said, and I saw somebody mention this before. I have not confirmed this, but it's interesting. Grooming standards, it could be a DEI thing. Grooming standards potentially, let me find this first. Hold on. Are grooming standards different in the U.S. military for African-American troops, like African-American males, than for white troops in terms of shaving and stuff like that, or no? People were telling me yes, for shaving and stuff. Grooming. No, okay, this is ChatGPT, and I found more and more errors with ChatGPT, but nonetheless, grooming standards on paper are the same for everyone in the military, but in practice, there are some specific accommodations, particularly around shaving, that disproportionately affect African-American service members because of their biological differences in hair growth. Department of Defense sets uniform grooming standards across all races. Men should be clean-shaven, hair must be neat and conservative, no extreme styles, colors, or designs. The reality, medical shaving waivers. Where things diverge is in how these rules are applied, because African-American men are far more likely to suffer from pseudofolliculitis barbae, a chronic condition caused by curly facial hair growing back into the skin after shaving, leading to painful bumps, scarring, and infections. Basically, I get this, but to a minor degree, like super red dots all over your neck from shaving, right? Because the hair basically irritates the neck. And they, I guess, get an accommodation. A medical waiver allows them to keep a short, neatly trimmed beard, usually 1/4 inch or less. So it is entirely possible. About 60% of those waivers go to black men. This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been on a rampage against civil rights overall, particularly going after blacks, but he's going after women, Latinos, Native Americans, Indians, right? I mean, all the women, all the different, we've already had these stories all the time. They banned the teaching about some black heroes from World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen, and then such an outrage, they had to bring it back. They banned a bulletin board, like a display at the National Cryptological Museum outside of Washington in Maryland, because it was honoring like women and other minorities who are famous in like code breaking. And they didn't like that, because why are you talking about women and minorities being heroes, right? So they covered it up with literally like a cloth, and then got into trouble because people got pissed and they took it away. They removed a story about one of the heroes of Iwo Jima. There's a very famous statue and photo in American history of, and again, it's staged, but it's still very iconic, of U.S. troops raising a flag in Iwo Jima out in the Pacific during World War II. And it's this, you'll see these like 5 or 6 or whatever troops, and there's this big long pole in American flag, and they're like slowly raising the flag. And again, it was a little staged, but it's still very cool. There's a famous statue of that across the way in Virginia, Northern Virginia. And one of the guys who did that was An American Indian, by the way, they go by Indian, meaning Native American, but they go by Indian. Pindu maybe tribe. Nonetheless, he was an Indian. Ira Hayes, I think it's Hayes, right? Miscreant, Ira Hayes. And there was a story about him on the Pentagon website. They got rid of it because why are we highlighting a story about an Indian, a Native American, right? That's DEI. That's civil rights. It's crazy. I mean, well, you get it, what they've been doing to women. They've been doing it to women too, you name it. So I would not be surprised. No, they go by Indian, actually, Addie. Literally, it's Indian. Google it. I looked at this. I looked at this in depth. Yes, they go as Indian. So there's a decent chance that the reason they're doing this, that the reason he's talking about grooming is he doesn't like the special dispensation for black men to get because of their beard, right? I mean, yeah. Thank you, Cassidy. That's what I was trying. Again, I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't call them Indians without checking. I mean, I'm not saying this to you, but to everybody else, like, hello. But yes, in the U.S., it's in the U.S. First of all, in the U.S., we call over all the group Native Americans. This particular group, I think it's Pindu. According to the articles, they go by Indian of all things. But again, they can call themselves whatever they want. That's their right. In any case, so the general stuff happens tomorrow. A lot of us are very concerned. Black women, they're going after everybody. Yeah. A lot of us are very concerned that tomorrow is going to be about telling, because there was one line in a Politico story, and Politico, the reporters buried it, literally buried it. They said it's going to be about grooming and silly stuff, right? Thanks to the gifts, Gene. And buried in the story is the line that Hegseth is going to make it clear to the generals that we better all row in the same direction. And if you don't, your career is going to be at stake. And I'm looking at it going, okay, right, put on the brakes. This is not an article about, silly stuff, right? They're going to talk about grooming. When you throw a line in that he's going to tell the generals, we better all row in the same direction, or your career will be at stake. Your career will be affected. They're threatening the generals that Hegseth and Trump are going to announce something or some things that the generals are not going to like. And if the generals don't like it, they can get out. It's going to affect they're threatening the generals. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. This weekend, for example, Trump said he's going to be sending possibly U.S. troops, possibly National Guard, but the way he phrased it was U.S. troops to Portland, Oregon. That's in the northwest of the U.S. There's nothing going on in Portland, Oregon. Nice place, but there's nothing going on. Trump claims it's crime-ridden. Oh, my God. It's a disaster. We have to send in the troops. It's a total lie. Ironically, Trump is lying against himself. 2 weeks ago, Trump was asked if he was going to send troops to Portland, and he said, no, there's nothing going on in Portland. Literally 2 weeks ago, there's nothing going on in Portland. He goes, everything's fine, but there's not any unusual crime or anything else. 2 weeks later, he's sending the troops to Portland because the crime is out of control and the attacks on ICE. Oh, hello. Oh, that's kind of cool. Thank you, Luis. The attacks on ICE, the immigration officers are out of control. There are no attacks on ICE. There's nothing. The problem is Trump said he was sending in the U.S. military and he had ordered them to use full force against civilians. Now, the word full force doesn't mean anything in military parlance. In civilian parlance, it sounds like you mean deadly force. It sounds like you're saying that you just authorized the U.S. military to open fire on civilians who might be peacefully protesting, is what it sounds like. And if you look at Trump talking to the generals tomorrow and Hegseth saying they better row in the same direction as us or their career is going to be on the line, it sounds like they're going to somehow be told, we may order you to do things you don't like, and if you don't follow those orders, you're going to be in trouble. Now, interesting enough, U.S. troops do not have to follow illegal orders. In fact, they are legally bound to not follow illegal orders. The problem is, how do you define an illegal order? How, if you're even a general, I mean, you're not a lawyer. How do you now, maybe by the time you're a general, you know what an illegal order is. I don't know, but it kind of leaves some wiggle room there, but that may not be the best thing. So that is happening tomorrow. Kind of a mess. Illinois Governor Pritzker says the Illinois National Guard, this is interesting. The Illinois National Guard, oh, thank you, Joy. The Illinois National Guard was informed of a request from the Department of Homeland Security requesting that the Pentagon deploy 100 troops to Chicago to protect ICE agents. Now, let me rephrase this. So the federal government, Trump, is asking Illinois, actually, this story is a little confusing. It's not clear who's asking whom. Illinois controls the National Guard. It's not clear that Trump can just take the Illinois National Guard and have them do stuff in Chicago or whatever. Not clear. This sounds like Trump is almost asking Illinois for permission. I think what they're doing is Trump wants the governor of Illinois to say, no, you don't get the National Guard. And then Trump is hoping for violence. Any kind of, look what they did 2 weeks ago. They used that incident to just go crazy, right? And they're doing it again now. What was the other? I can't even remember now. There was some other violence, because the problem is in this country, we have violence every day. Like I said, there was the Mormon shooting yesterday, 2 other mass shootings yesterday. There was some other mass shooting or something in the last week that they also were trying. I can't even remember now. Oh, the attacks on ICE. There have been some attacks at ICE facilities. And the Republicans, his people have gone crazy trying to basically suppress free speech and call Democrats terrorists. Stephen Miller has been very funny. Stephen Miller accused, and they're very good at their messaging. They lie, but they're very good at it. Stephen Miller accused Gavin Newsom, the Democratic governor of California, of supporting terrorism, because Gavin Newsom, I don't know if I've got Gavin's quote here. Gavin Newsom had called ICE fascists, and he called Stephen Miller a fascist. And Miller responded and said, "You're supporting terrorism. That's a call for violence." Because Miller said, if you call somebody a fascist, it means you want somebody to turn violent on them, according to Miller. Thank you, Marcia. Right? So just to get this straight, Stephen Miller, one of Trump's top guys, he's vile, nasty, very fascisty. He's been called, and he is. Nasty guy. He says that anybody who calls someone a fascist, what they really mean is underneath, they're hoping, they know that they're putting out a call for violence. They think, according to Stephen Miller, if you use the word fascist, you are intending to motivate someone to violence. Okay, that's a better explanation. Okay, so Stephen Miller thinks that if you use the word fascist, you are calling for violence. Then why is it that Stephen Miller used the word fascist 15 times in the last couple of years? They're all here. Governor Newsom, God bless him, shared them and said, okay, you're calling for violence, right? For example, Stephen Miller, the Democrats appointed communist judges in a handful of America's most liberal cities. Those unelected communist judges are now trying to rule over all of us and invalidate. Oh, this was the communist thing. Sorry. Stephen Miller, the Democratic Party is now a fascist party. Stephen Miller, the Democratic Party is now a fascist party. Again, Stephen Miller, this was last year. If the key to achieving your agenda is silencing your critics, censoring your opponents, then your ideas are wrong and you are a fascist. Stephen Miller, we have descended into third world fascist tyranny. Stephen Miller, CBS O'Donnell actually said this about the lunatic candidate, calling everyone who doesn't support her, Kamala Harris, Nazi, fascist, racist. Stephen Miller, they flaunt their corruption. Conservatives, revel in their fascist lawfare. Stephen Miller, the open celebration of fascist Democrat. You get it. 15 times at least in the last year, Stephen Miller used the word fascist. I need a bald wig, I know, for Stephen Miller. Called Democrats fascist. Now Stephen Miller, but this is interesting. this is where I wish Democrats would do a better job with this. Okay. Thank you, Ox. So Stephen Miller, thank you, Gene. Stephen Miller calls Democrats fascist 15 times last year. B, Stephen Miller says anybody who uses the word fascist intends violence. Anybody who uses the word fascist knows, according to Stephen Miller, that it is a subtle, hidden message to tell people to go kill that person. Now, if Stephen Miller thinks, I think he's wrong. If Stephen Miller thinks, oh no, anybody who uses the word fascist, their intent is for you to die, then when Stephen Miller last year used the word fascist 15 times, he clearly intended Democrats to be victims of violence. Because Stephen Miller said, literally, think about it, anytime you use the word fascist, you are clearly intending violence. That means Stephen Miller was intending violence when he used the word, but it means in his mind. This isn't just accusing him of it. In his mind, Stephen Miller says that your state of mind when you use the word fascist is you want someone to do something violent against them. That means Stephen Miller was thinking that last year when he used the word. That's kind of serious stuff. That's pretty serious stuff. Anyway, so ICE, speaking of Chicago, ICE agents opened fire on a reporter from CBS News. CBS News is one of America's big TV networks, very credible. I mean, they're one of the big networks, super credible. She's driving yesterday morning by the ICE facility outside of Chicago in Broadview. And she driving by the facility to see if there's any protests, because, she drives by occasionally to check out if there's protests, because then it's a story, right? Or just to get footage, like about this stuff about Trump and the governor, right? She drives by, her window's down because it's warm in Chicago. There's no protest. Oh, thank you. Kim, thank you, Kim. That's a very cool, I always like that gift. That's a cool one. Actually, all these gifts go with my shirt. It's fun, the colors. So CBS News reporter yesterday morning drives by the ICE facility right outside of Chicago. Her window's down. She's looking just to see if there's any protests, because then she'll stop or have a camera crew come out. There are no protests. There are no protesters. This is important. Nothing is going on. Okay. Thank you, Marcia. Nothing's going on. There's no one else there. The ICE officer from 50 feet away, 50 feet would be 13 meters. Well, no, 15 meters, 15, 16 meters. Okay. From 50 feet away, which is nothing. The ICE officer picks up his gun and fires at her. It was some kind of a pepper round. It entered her car and exploded inside her car. Mind you, you're driving. Someone fires at you and there's an explosion of pepper inside your car. It took her out, obviously, for 10, 15 minutes. She couldn't barely breathe. She said she got out of the car and started vomiting because it was so bad. The local police have launched a criminal investigation. I saw a statement that I think is real from ICE today denying the entire incident. It didn't happen. Didn't happen. Well, here's the thing. That round is inside her car. That round is used by ICE. I don't know who else is going to use pepper ball. Exactly. Who else is going to be using that weapon? And the day before, they arrested another reporter. Thank you, Marcia. They arrested another Chicago reporter the day before, Steve Held, his last name was Held, interestingly, and arrested him for the day and then let him go. They're targeting reporters. Again, this is what fascists do. This is what they do in Russia, in China, right? In Hungary, to be honest. This was not America. It's what a fascist government does. I mean, we use the word because there really isn't any other word for this. It's what dictators do. Really, really, really scary stuff. Really scary stuff. All right. Trump's trade war with China. This was kind of funny. Trump screwed up you'll be glad to know Trump screwed up the trade war with China. So Trump launched a trade war with the whole world, right? And specifically China, he went kind of crazy on China. Remember, he had like 140% tariff or something, 145% on China. Well, the Chinese were like, dude, right? China is one of the biggest, countries in the world, one of the biggest trading countries in the world. So the Chinese went, okay, screw you. Thank you, Rebecca. We'll just stop trading with you too. So China has stopped buying American soybean from American farmers. It has caused massive problems for American farmers. The farmers are now asking for help from, are asking for, oh, hold on a second. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Misha says, who's, well, now Misha is Russian American. Misha was a Russian who immigrated to the U.S. Now he's American. The American cops or agents, but how they wear face masks is like we do in Russia. Interesting. Yeah. Well, we also have an expression which you've seen, I'm sure, Misha, even with me. We compare things to Russia a lot and China when we're trying to compare it to countries that are dictatorships where they abuse people and don't believe in civil rights. Of course, now we're comparing what our government is doing to Russia and China. But, so Trump's trade war. Okay. So Trump launches the trade war. The Chinese say, screw you. Hold on. Alexa, lower the temperature 1 degree. The Chinese say, screw you. And they stop. Oh, we are having a nice sunset. I was looking at the picture, but I thought this was just like a reflection from my TV or something. We're getting a very nice little, there was apparently a nice one yesterday I missed entirely, which I'm very upset about. Totally. It's kind of a weird glow. It's kind of cool though. It's a very cool little, that's really, it looks fake. It's very cool. So the Chinese said, screw you. And they stopped buying American. I know the colors match, which is fun. They stopped buying American soybeans. Well, American soybean farmers have been in so much trouble that they now need a bailout from Trump. And this is the best part. Trump says he's going to take some of the tariff money and bail out the American soybean farmers. Thank you. Who's that? Thank you, Eslin. And people were like, so your tariffs are screwing and destroying the American soybean farmers, and you're going to take some of the tariff money that's destroying the farmers and give it back to the farmers? Okay, whatever. Well, this weekend, Associated Press reporter, it really is. I love this. I love when we get nice sunsets. It's fun. I do enjoy my sunsets. So this weekend, an Associated Press reporter is standing behind U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary. And Bessent is sitting there like an idiot reading his phone. Like an idiot, he doesn't have a screen. You can get a screen on your phone so people can't see your phone from an angle, like on an airplane and something. Trump's people don't care. As you know, Trump stole classified information. Trump's people don't care about security. So they don't have the screens. I mean, again, you're Treasury Secretary. How do you not have the screen on your phone to stop people from reading it, to stop reporters from taking pictures of your phone? Well, they get a picture of the phone. I'm going to see if I've got, I think I may or may not have grabbed the picture of the phone. I don't think I grabbed the picture of it though. Oh, I did. So the reporter gets a picture of his phone, zooms in. Even I can read this. This one's a little gray. The reporter's got a better copy. This is a text message from the Secretary of Agriculture to the Secretary of Treasury explaining how Trump fucked up with the trade war with China and Argentina. Okay. It's pretty good. Oh, was it Signal? Maybe they're using Signal. That's right. It probably is Signal. I didn't think of that. It could be Signal. The note says, basically, Trump is now bailing out Argentina. The Argentines came to Trump. The Argentines government came to Trump. Remember Milei, who's the guy that Trump really likes? Milei comes to Trump and says, I need to bail out $20 billion. Billion with a B. Trump says, sure. Right? Because Milei is his buddy. Now, mind you, we don't have any money in America, right? We have no money. We're in massive debt. Trump is sending the budget through the roof. We have no money, but no problem spending $20 billion on Argentina. Our foreign aid budget was only about $14 billion. And Trump decided to kill it, literally killing children in Africa and elsewhere, according to even Republicans who looked at the issue. But he found 20. He couldn't find 14 billion to save children, but he did find 20 billion to give to the Argentines. Well, the U.S. Agricultural Secretary tells the Treasury Secretary and says, okay, so I need to tell you what the Argentines are doing. The Chinese refused to buy our soybean because of the trade wars. So the Argentines said, hey, why don't you buy our soybeans. We will even lower our export tariffs or whatever they've got in Argentina on exporting to keep the grain domestic. We'll lower our price and sell it to you for less so that you buy ours instead. So Argentina has now set itself up as the new customer for China. The new customer for China instead of Americans. And again, since we've got trolls today, this is Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary on his device reading a message from Trump's Agricultural Secretary explaining the entire thing, how Trump screwed up because the Argentines decided to knife us in the back and sell China their soybean at a discount so they could get the market instead of us. And now China will stay with Argentina and never come back to buy American soybean again. And our farmers are screwed. And I love Argentina. I've lived there. I've worked there. But this is the country Donald Trump decided to give 20. And that's what she says there. These are the guys we just gave $20 billion to, the guys who have screwed American farmers. And of course, they screwed American farmers because Donald Trump decided to piss off China. Da 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 da. Woo! Right here, that deserves a little. I think although this could be our bad news goat, except he's going to get used a lot if he's our bad news goat. So yes, so that was kind of funny. Ha ha. Trump announced more tariffs today because prices haven't gone high enough. Trump announced he's putting 100% tariff on films made abroad. I was talking to Damien about this. Pretty much every American movie is filmed abroad nowadays, which means he's going to somehow double the price of American movies. Nobody knows how he's going to do this because and again, only Trump could do this. It's not like you go abroad and make the movie and then you physically bring the movie across the border and pay a tariff on it. That doesn't, right? How does that, this is intellectual property. How does that work? My guess, I was talking to Damien though, my guess was, because I said, okay, because Damien's worked in Hollywood. I said, how does it work? Do you, like, when you make a movie, okay, let's say you're an American producer, you go abroad to Canada, make a movie, you come back, do you just sell it or rent it? Because you license it. I said, okay. I said, do you license it to movie theaters or is there a middleman? He goes, there's a middleman, a distributor, I think he called it. And he goes, you would license your movie to the distributor, they would pay for it, and then they would distribute it at the movie theaters. I said, do they pay the distributor? He said, yeah. I said, well, they're probably going to pay twice as much now. That's the tariff. But that's the tariff. You could put the tariff on the distribution of the movie if there's some way of doing it. Bottom line, and Gavin Newsom just tweeted it and said, prices are going through the roof, beef especially, but other prices are going through the roof. And Donald Trump just decided now you need to pay more for movies. Now, the other problem is we don't go to movie theaters anymore. We really don't. A lot I don't. He's going to kill movie theaters by doing this. Movie theaters are already in trouble. It's going to kill our movie theaters by doing this. This is a disaster. Again, there's our boy. Speaking of tariffs, we've got another tariff story. Trump's tariffs are adding to the price of coffee in America. Don't listen to me. Listen to Fox News. Fox News says Trump's tariffs, in addition to some problems with like coffee production, but it said coffee production and Trump's tariffs are the two leading causes of coffee prices jumping over 20% in the last year in America. They jumped 20% from a year ago, and they rose 3.6% in the last month. Now, that's significant. 20% over the last year, 21%, but 3.6% in the last month over a year, that would be 43%. If that increase from last month, where it really jumped, continues for the next year, that would be a 43% increase in the price of coffee over the next year. Roasted coffees are up 27% over the last year, and their monthly increase of roasted coffee is now rising at 4.1% a month. On an annual basis, that would be a 50% increase by next year in coffee prices if that continues. Keep in mind that Trump put a 50% tax on coffee coming into the U.S. from Brazil. 1/3 of American coffee, 1/3 of all the coffee we drink and buy in America comes from Brazil. Trump just put a 50% tax on that coffee that you and I pay. And he, Interesting. He, what was I going to say with this? 50% tax. The reason he did it, which is just, I mean, it's bad enough he's literally causing prices to go crazy, inflation to go crazy in America. Trump put a 50% tariff on coffee, on everything from Brazil, but coffee especially, because his buddy, who was the former president of Brazil, who tried to violently overthrow the government and had plotted to kill the guy who won the election. The former president decided he was going to kill the guy who won the election and beat him, and he was going to use the military to overthrow the government. The Brazilians charged him with a crime and won. Trump got mad and threatened the Brazilian court and said, you let him go or I'm putting tariffs on you. And he put massive tariffs on Brazil, raising the price of coffee for you and me, because the terrorist who tried to overthrow the government of Brazil is going to prison. And Trump doesn't like that because, as you know, Trump likes to pardon domestic terrorists, as he did here with the 1,500 who tried to overthrow the government in the insurrection on January 6th. So yeah, lovely. There's too much news today. I just can't go through. There's too much news today. I'm going to go through quickly here. Okay. I didn't realize it was going this long. Oh my God, there's just so much. Trump shared a QAnon conspiracy theory this weekend, but he seemed to share it because he kind of went a little cuckoo. Trump shared a video this weekend. It was an AI generated video, so it was fake. Trump shared it thinking it was real. Okay. The AI video was of Trump talking about a program that he just did. Trump shared it thinking it was real. Trump never did the video about the program. The program doesn't exist. And the program is a conspiracy theory by QAnon. But Trump thought it was real, and Trump thought he actually recorded the video. So Trump shares the video. And the video is promising, by the way, as somebody pointed out in the comments on TikTok, the video is promising nationalized healthcare for all Americans. They're going to give a little card to every American. This is, again, bullshit. They're going to give a little card to all Americans. And that's where the light just changed on TikTok. That was fascinating. How the hell did that happen? Was that just on my end, or are you guys seeing it too? Now it's adjusting. Oh, that was weird. It suddenly got bright. That was weird. Trump video this weekend claims we're giving every American a special card and they will have access to med beds. And med beds are a special bed. And by the way, med beds don't exist. This card doesn't exist. Med beds are a conspiracy theory from QAnon, the weird cult that was involved with the insurrection, among other things. And the theory is that they're special hospital beds created with alien technology. Ancient alien secret, with alien technology, and they're miraculous beds that can cure anything. They can regrow arms and legs even. They're miracle beds. They can do anything. Trump shared the video of himself explaining this and saying we've installed them around the country and everyone's going to get a card that allows them to go and use a med bed whenever they need to. Okay? I mean, insane. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And then once people pointed it out and said, that's an AI video of a scam, not a scam, but of a conspiracy theory, Trump deleted it. I mean, really, really. What else we got here? Trump's FBI director came out this weekend and said he was lying. I thought that was kind of interesting. Kash Patel said Trump was lying. He didn't say lying, but Trump this weekend claimed, breaking news, we now know that 274 FBI agents incited the mob on January 6th. Everybody was innocent. And this is a lie, by the way. He goes, everybody was innocent, and the FBI agents incited them to violence. Kash Patel, remember Kash Patel? Kash Patel, Trump's crazy MAGA activist FBI director. Kash Patel came out and said, it's not true. In fact, what happened was the agents were assigned to go to the Capitol after the riot, he called them riots, after the riots began and members of Congress's lives were in danger and the military wasn't showing up, so they sent FBI agents. Trump claimed, and by the way, Matt Schlapp, remember the guy who just got $1 million from Google? Matt Schlapp claimed after Kash Patel said it was a lie and was fake, Matt Schlapp reiterated it and said, no, it's true. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, put it out there as a justification for why the domestic terrorists who committed the crimes on January 6th are not going to jail and why Trump pardoned them. He said his defense was, well, 274 FBI agents were in the crowd. Giving an explanation, a defense of the criminal actions of these people. Yeah. Now, mind you, what I think is interesting, though, which I kind of want to ask, wish you could ask Trump and go, okay, I'm a little confused about something. You claim no crimes happened. You claim everything was fine on January 6th. They weren't riots, right? They were tourists. So you're now claiming that lie, of course, but you're claiming that 274 FBI agents went into the crowd of tourists and incited them to do tourism? Either January 6th was bad or January 6th was okay. Which one is it? All the Republicans keep claiming January 6th was okay. Nothing bad actually happened. But now they're saying nothing bad happened and the FBI did it. But the FBI did the nothing bad that happened? Is that how it works? Right? I mean, and you pardon? Why did you have to pardon them if they did nothing bad? I'm confused. They're lying, of course. Moldova's elections. I got to mention this huge disaster for the Russians. Dog's doing okay. Moldova's elections. Moldova, small country next to Romania, next to Transnistria, next to Ukraine, former Soviet. Russians not happy that Moldova has been basically saddling up to Europe. And the new parliamentary elections, there was real concern that a pro-Russian group was going to take over the government. The Russians have done a lot of infiltration, obviously the illegal stuff they do, a lot of infiltration of the government and the media and everybody else, and they lost. The good guys won last night. It was a huge deal. Russia's not happy. Sky News called it second to Ukraine in terms of importance to Moscow. So even though some of you may not be familiar with it, for the Russians, this is like number 2 after Ukraine for them wanting to get their little hands on. So this was a huge deal, absolutely huge deal. Now, Putin can try, knowing Putin, he might try to invade, but good luck. How are you going to invade Moldova when you're already losing in Ukraine, right? So nonetheless, wouldn't hurt the Moldovans to get some European troops there to protect them. Trump is another story this weekend. Trump is reportedly considering giving Ukraine Tomahawk cruise missiles. Huge deal if true. I'd be very surprised. J.D. Vance says it's true that it's being considered, and J.D. Vance is an ass. So if he's saying it's true, he doesn't want to help Ukraine. He kind of tends to be pro-Russia like Trump. If he says it's true, it's true. It's not clear Trump is going to do it, but the fact that it's even being considered is a big deal. Tomahawk cruise missiles have a range of 1,550 miles or 2,500 kilometers, 1,500 miles. That is more than enough to get you to Moscow. Moscow, I think, is maybe 500 miles from Ukraine, something like that. Big deal. This is a big deal. Honestly, that's about it for now. I mean, my God, we've gone so late anyway. The show's practically over. I don't know why it didn't feel like it was going long today, but then it went long. Sorry. Anyway, thank you, Taylor. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Last couple of minutes of gifts, it helps out. So thank you. What if this is a diversion? What's the diversion? Aaron. Aaron. What's a diversion? Oh, that's interesting. Arctic Legacy. I had a great uncle who spent his entire life in Europe and South America hunting Germans that got away after the war. Oh, well, that's like God, you hope he wrote a journal or something. That's a hell of a movie. I mean, it's been a movie, of course, but still, that's pretty cool. The military figures going to the meeting. A diversion. No officials will be present. What do you mean no officials? I guess I'm not sure what you mean. What's a diversion? What do you mean? I know you guys can only write so much there, which is annoying because you can't really write too much. Dog, what are we doing? Got to keep an eye on Miss Troublemaker. She decided to eat my Christmas cactus this morning. That was the newest at age 15. Thank you, Roy. Appreciate that. But I get up and all of a sudden she's eating my Christmas. I'm like, Christmas cactus? Mind you, it's been here for 15 years. You suddenly decided this morning it was something worth chewing on. At least it's not poisonous. So, the sunset, actually, this is no longer the sunset. The sunset is done. Sasha, did you come in? You did come in. Okay, good. The sunset is over. Now you're looking at the reflection of my lights out the window. That's why it looks like the sunset. Now it's just my light. But it does look very cool, I will say. Anyway, thanks, Magic. Appreciate that. Oh, because we would announce such information that all of them will be together. Well, it's very stupid to announce that all the generals are going to be in the same room and admirals in the same room, because correct, it's a security nightmare. Trump is going to be there, another security nightmare. We're not dealing with the smartest people. I mean, I guess put it this way. Either there's two possibilities, right? Either all the generals aren't coming tomorrow and they're lying and trying to trick us, or, and this is possible too, or we're not dealing with the brightest people and they're dumb enough and have enough hubris that they decided to bring 800 generals in the same room together, knowing it's an incredibly dangerous security situation. Is Trump and Hegseth especially dumb enough to do that? Yeah. Thank you, Derek. That's my lighting that took me 14 years to figure out. It took me forever, and all of a sudden I had an epiphany. Well, actually, the blue I figured out a couple of years ago, and the red was like a couple months ago for you guys. I was like, what can I do to put a little color behind me? And I thought, what about red lights behind the TV? And I was like, I'm going to try it. And then I did it, and I was like, ooh, it's kind of a cool, I like it. But even added benefit, once it's dark out, it reflects in the window outside, which is nice. So it does kind of do a, kind of a whole thing. So anyway, thank you, Jenna. Oh, anyway, we'll go in a minute. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to sit for a second and then we'll go. The lights, I mean, the blue lights are Philips Hue, the LED strips. They're very good, but they're persnickety, meaning what I found was they kind of need to be in an enclosed area or they don't look good. And like, in other words, I've got them along in the nook along the wall, like above the shelf, but along the wall. There they look good. When I put them above the shelf in my kitchen, they look bad because it was open to the air and it just looked bad. So they need to be enclosed, and that literally I got some cheap lights behind the TV, some cheap generic lights. They're not even Hue. They're cheap generic. I don't know what. Thank you, Addie. And some little light stands from Amazon that were $8, and they're literally like a stand like this, and that's it, like a little light stand. And I was like, "Ooh, that looks fun." But it worked. It looked perfect. I mean, it looked there. So there's two of them behind the TV. It looks good. So you guys can see there too. It ended up looking kind of cool. So yeah. No, like I said, it took me forever because I'm not good at the design thing. And all of a sudden I had like a little epiphany and went, ooh, red light behind the TV. And honestly, I have it go on every night now. And it's actually it's slightly less bright than it looks for you guys. It looks brighter for you all. It's less bright here so that it actually is a nice kind of, when I watch TV, I have it go on. So it's like a nice, yeah. But yes, it's a socket. It is literally a light socket with a base under it. That's exactly what it is. Yep. And the light bulb screws in because I figured, ooh, open air would be nice because it's behind a TV. You want the light to kind of permeate, No, I was very happy. Like I said, I'm not good at design, but I tried it and I went, oh, that's really, but as you guys can see too, with the blue light on top, although you can't really get a sense. I don't think you can really appreciate on YouTube. I think the iPad, TikTok gives a much better sense of how the light really, I mean, it's brighter than it is, but it does fill the room like that. The granola, I threw out the granola. I made my real granola. I found my recipe. I told you this. My damn recipe popped up. I was so pissed. Oh, I should not be an interior decorator. I'm terrible at it, but I got lucky with the lights. It worked. But it took me 15 years to get the inspiration. But no, I finally found my granola recipe. It showed up again in my iPhone. It disappeared on my iPhone and it came back. And it's it's great. Actually, I typically put it in the Discord, but I could probably show you here if it's small enough. Let me see. Is it small enough to? This is the recipe. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, you know what? I could just show you quickly on screen. This is my granola recipe. Take a screen capture. All right. Good. Take a screen capture, or it's going away. I'll show you guys too. This is my granola recipe. Obviously, you can adjust it accordingly. Okay, you guys coming next on Discord, if anybody cares. But that's the granola recipe. Screen capture it if you want. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Well, or you can use your phone to take a picture of it, or you can do a screen capture, whichever. That's the recipe. I try to put in little things like I mentioned, like I tried a little less. I tried to put a little more sugar. Like it was slightly not sweet enough, but too sweet you can never fix. Not sweet enough, you can add a little more fruit. Like I add a little. It was slightly not sweet this time, so I added more raisins. You add more raisins and it's fine. But I would much rather do that because the opposite is too hard. But yeah, I mean, you basically mix the dry, mix the wet, then mix the dry into the wet, right? Spread it out in a pan and cook it. I cook it at 300 degrees. You can do not go higher. You can go lower, but lower could take a long time. I do 300 degrees. I check it, keep an eye on it. Check it at 20 minutes, check it at half hour. It'll probably take 40, 45 minutes, but I check it to be safe. I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it on the Discord. That's where we usually put it. But yeah, this time I think it took 45 minutes or so, maybe 40, 45. I put it in a 10 by 14 pan I have. I've got a really nice 10 by 14 baking pan, maybe even 10 by 15. So if it's a 9 by 13, that's going to be pretty thick. You may want to, if it's a 9 by 13, you might even want to put it in 2 pans, maybe. But and then one of the tricks they recommend with granola is I cook it until it's a nice toasty brown. Like I want a really nice golden, but I mean a nice golden brown, right? Where it's almost. Actually, I will show you my granola. I cook it for. Oops. TikTok. I was just told TikTok gets upset when you walk away. Like you've got to be careful. I was like, yeah. Actually, that gives you a sense. That color looks. That's the way I cook it too. So I cook it until it looks like that. And then you turn the oven off and leave the oven closed until the next morning, is what I was told. That's a number of people say to do it that way because it keeps drying it out. If you take it out of the oven, it can absorb moisture. You leave it in the oven until you turn it off, leave it in the oven until the next morning, and it dries out entirely. And it doesn't go bad. I mean, it doesn't go bad. But thank you, Megan. Anyway, but yeah, it's good. And again, this time wasn't sweet enough, but but then you add a little more dried fruit, add a little more craisins or a little more, raisins or whatever. And I grab a bowl, like I had it for lunch, and I wanted a little sweeter. So I put a few more raisins in it. It was sweet. So it works. But again, you could eat it with yogurt and put a little, honey. It's good. It's a very good recipe. As I said, I err on the side of not making it too sweet. So, you might want to make it once, or make half a recipe. Even I would say make half a recipe, see how you like it. And then you can have maple syrup, honey. I mean, that's already maple syrup's in the recipe, but you can add more. iPack. What is iPack? What is that, wheelchair cat? I don't use a Gavi, but I'm sure you could. It's just a matter of adjusting. So Jens, the finger is good. I'm still having to do the exercises every night. You don't have to ask about the finger. Oh, you cut your thumb open? The finger is getting better, but it's my middle finger. It's still like naturally bent a little, which you can see. It's not like I can straighten it up. Now it's straight. What I did notice though, like I was doing this yesterday to test. If my hand is straight up, I can do this with my middle finger. If my hand is straight up, I can only do See, I'm slowly doing more as I push. I don't want to ruin it, but I have to kind of push it, and I can do more, but it's not this, right? That's how I can tell it's, it's still not, but it's getting there. Thank you, wheelchair. It's getting there slowly, but every night I have to do the exercises and stretch it, and it's gonna take time. What do you do? Someone said the meeting's canceled. I'm not convinced it is, but we can check. Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. Let's look and see. I'm not convinced the general's meeting is canceled at all. Also, couldn't you? I would love it if he canceled. He brought them all here and canceled. I don't think he did, but it would be very funny if he brought them all here and canceled it. But I doubt he did. Let me try this. Oh, good. U.S. fans were insulting European golf pros. I'm telling you, I don't know why anybody would come here. Hold on. Before you join. Oh, good. Some administration official. Gavin Wax. Who is this guy, Gavin Wax? He's an administration official. Who is he? Gavin Wax. Let me see. But Preston was just sharing some of his tweets. Oh, he's some Republican club guy. He's at the State Department now. So the State Department hired some kid whose views on Ukraine used to be, Russia already has, this is October 2022. That would be after the invasion. Yep. Russia already has the red part of Ukraine on the east, and won't lose it. The Kherson offensive was a disaster for Ukraine. Ukrainian advances in Kharkov? Okay, that's nice to say it the Russian way. Were against a purposely hollowed out Russian. Ukraine's only military wins have been against a Russian force that voluntarily and strategically abandoned territory. Russia has been extremely casualty averse. Russia will launch a massive war-ending offensive in Ukraine. This is 2 years ago. Once the mud freezes and collective West will demand NATO boots on the ground. Just wait. I do find it interesting that Russia is completely disinterested in fighting an information war. They have the ability to. Yeah. Great. So he's some Trump guy now. He's some American Russian sympathizer who now works at the State Department, of course, because of course he does. This is who they are. I really miss the days when some Gavin Wax, some new Republican Russia sympathizer type who is now working at the State Department. Very sad. Very sad. Anyway. Oh, we were looking at the general thing. Yeah, I think that general comment, I assumed it was somebody being trolly. But, sometimes people say things I think are trolly and they're telling the truth. So let me look here again. Hold on. Following. All right, back to my following again. Because if it's true, my following page will have it. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Morning Consult, which is a very credible morning publication here in DC. Fresh polling out today shows that with 48 hours to go, Republicans haven't entirely won the blame game with voters. The new Morning Consult poll, this is with the shutdown, the new Morning Consult poll shared exclusively with Playbook shows 45% of voters are more likely to blame Republicans if there's a shutdown compared to 32% blaming Democrats, a 13-point margin. That's good. That's not bad. 45% blame Republicans, 32% blame Democrats. That split gets wider when looking just at independent voters. Independent voters are more likely to blame Republicans by a 17-point margin. Oh, this is good. Well, I'm going to have to do a TikTok video on this one. That's good. I did not see that. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Good. Yeah, I think the meeting's still on tomorrow. People would be talking about it left and right if it were true. So, just looking last little minute here. And Gavin Newsom of California has been doing just hilarious things, going after them. All right, what else here? Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. Still a little cold.
The AC is set to 76.
All right, there we go. My apartment's weird. Like the temperature doesn't really tell you how it's really doing. I mean, meaning 76, 75 doesn't really tell you. Hold on. Oh. Daily Beast, the former Fox News host Pete Hegseth is reportedly spiraling out of control, being described by staffers as manic. They said Hegseth is becoming increasingly obsessed with his own security and exhibits frenzied behavior such as fidgeting and pacing during meetings. There's a manic... Oh, yeah. Talk to Don Jr. about that one. There's a manic quality about him, or let me rephrase, an even more manic quality, which is really saying something, an insider told the outlet. Dude is crawling out of his skin, another source said. Oh, well. Wow. JD Vance is using violent rhetoric. That's nice. That's nice. What a surprise. Sasha, just wait. There you go. There you go. Quiet, just wait. Okay, there's no news. Yep, there's no other additional news. So nothing new. Nothing new. So anyway, yeah, I am just waiting for Trump to get up tomorrow and do his usual just stupid talk, you know, because it's Trump. He's going to say stupid stuff. It's going to be inappropriate. He'll talk about winning the election. He'll talk about getting indicted. He'll talk about Comey, which the generals are going to love having Trump talk about, you know, doing dictator stuff, going after his political enemies. And let's wait and see what else. You just got invited to the live, Jen? That's funny. So let's see, you know, but this should be interesting tomorrow. This should be interesting. So, all right, the meeting tomorrow, I don't know when it is. I'm going to guess it's an all-day thing, but it's a good question when Trump is speaking. Now, mind you, if they're smart, they're not going to tell us because, like, how much do they not want to be careful with security here, right? But no, bigger concern, I hope it's dumb. My bigger concern is that Trump ends up, you know, and Hegseth end up sort of saying, we'd like to have a little martial law. What do you think? You know what I mean? So that's my concern. All right, I'm going to sign off, guys. Dog is whining. It's 7:30, and the voice has been weird lately again, which reminds me, I still have to call the voice guy. Yes, I do. I even put the card out here and then put it aside again. All right, I got to find voice guy's card again. All right, Jeffrey and JTA, good to see you guys. Thank you. YouTube, Sasha, one time. YouTube, see you guys. Thanks for joining tonight. I'm coming. Don't worry. All right, take